So let's kick things off with Michigan State, Mississippi State, which will tip off at 12:15 Eastern on CBS. I swear it used to be 12:07, like way back in the day. Am I crazy?
No, I
No,
think that sounds right. It was like
Yeah, I agree.
12:10, like they cut into the live feed like in that 12:05 range. Yeah, I think you're right.
we're moving everything back to get more commercials. It's like the big noon kickoff on Fox. It's not big. It's not big noon kickoff. It's big 12:15 kickoff on Fox. Those games never start at noon either. Anyway, I digress. Michigan State is a 1.5 point favorite here in the 8-9 matchup. Total ticked up a bit, sitting at 130.5. Good guard matchup here between Hubbard and Walker. You also have to worry about Tolu Smith in the middle of Mississippi State's packed-in defense, protecting the rim. There's all the questions about Sparty and who they're going to have at the 5. Right off the bat, I will tell you, I don't have a really strong conviction on this game yet. This is a game, I went through every single game in depth, and then I went through them again, and then I went through potential future matchups, and then during doing that, I circled a bunch of games. All right, I got to go deeper into these, and this was one of them. And the main reason I want to get this game right, or try to, even if I don't end up betting it, is North Carolina is an extremely vulnerable #1 seed, and I may have them going down in the second round, but I'm conflicted on the 8-9 matchup. So that's always the dilemma, because if you get the 8-9 matchup wrong, who cares if you picked Carolina to go down, because you don't have the correct 8 or 9 advancing. So yeah, I think this is a pretty interesting matchup, two pretty evenly matched teams. And as I mentioned, the next anticipated matchup against North Carolina, the line would be like 3.5, 4.5. It's not going to be crazy. Randall, let me go to you. And this Michigan State team has been, highly ranked analytically all year. They're 18th in KenPom, 12 spots ahead of Mississippi State, even though they closed the year losing 5 of 7, with their only wins coming over a banged up Northwestern team, and they didn't look great in that game in their home finale, and then a fading Minnesota team to kick off the Big Ten tournament. What do you see here? Do you see anything noteworthy?
Yeah, I like Mississippi State. I think they're going to win the game. They are iron sharpens iron in the SEC, and that's what Mississippi State has done. Look, their 3-point defense is superior. They're super great on the boards, aggressive inside. Not a tremendously tall team, but certainly aggressive enough to battle Michigan State, who's been soft in the interior all year long. They've been looking for a reliable post presence, and they can't find it. Their offense is very up and down. They're limping in as well as Mississippi State. Now, Mississippi State doesn't make free throws. That's their thing. However, they've also had some horrific free throw luck against them. Teams shooting 78% against them from the free throw line. They crushed Tennessee, and they battled Auburn, giving them a pretty tough game in the semifinals of the SEC tournament. I am taking Mississippi State. I'm also taking them because I think they match up well against North Carolina in the next round. I like Chris Jans, like his in-game adjustments. Don't trust Izzo right now. He's been trying to get an identity for this team, hasn't been able to find it. They hit some good 3-point variance in the middle of the year, then they limped all the way in. I think the athletes, I think Hubbard, everything points to Mississippi State. Give me a couple threes from the outside that go in. I think they can pull away easily here. I have the Bulldogs winning this game.
Yeah, two defenses that do allow a high frequency of 3-pointers. We'll see who can knock them down in the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, on a neutral court in a foreign venue. The one thing that does concern me about Mississippi State, to play devil's advocate, which might end up being the difference, wrote about this in a couple of my pieces that are out on actionnetwork.com and the Action Network app. The turnover issues for Mississippi State. They have one of the highest turnover rates among all teams in the field. They ranked 290th nationally, turning the ball over in 18.7% of their possessions, which was the same mark in SEC play. And Michigan State, top 75 in forcing turnovers, and they take care of the ball. So I am a bit concerned about just Michigan State, number one, maybe getting some easy buckets in transition, although they're not a team that really looks to run much. These are two fairly slow-paced teams, but just getting, with those turnovers, Michigan State having a few more possessions, that might end up being the difference. But I think Tolu Smith is going to have a big game, big impact on both ends of the floor. But this ultimately just could come down to, okay, who's cooking more? Is it Tyson Walker or Josh Hubbard? Calabrese, any one sentence quick thought on this matchup, or what you're doing in your bracket, or with Carolina? Anything you want to add here?
Yeah, I love the way that you framed it. I think North Carolina is super vulnerable. I want to make sure that I'm holding the right team to face them, because I'm probably going to put them into my Sweet 16, but I just don't know who that team is. Like, I see Izzo. I know the track record. I know what he's been able to accomplish, particularly against vulnerable teams in that round of 32. But you laid it out in terms of how they played down the stretch in the Big Ten, not inspiring. And Mississippi State, if they had just made, instead of missing 10 foul shots, if they had cut that number in half, it's probably a one possession game against Auburn. So they're just stacking incredible performances, knocking off Tennessee, going away, and then hanging with an Auburn team that only turned them over 11 times. So that's really been their bugaboo, is turning the ball over, being able to handle the on-ball pressure and the, boundless energy from an Auburn team that was essentially playing in, a home court advantage to the north up in Nashville. Is incredible how many fans they had come with them. I was impressed by that. So I guess at this point I lean Mississippi State, but it's really a coin flip.